Hey, Ryan here. Hope you guys are doing great. So, on this episode of Geeky Gear Chat, I have the awesome Miles Meakin, who's the lead guitarist from the band Midnite City. Go and check these guys out. They're all over the place. No matter where you are, check these guys out. Miles also does some backing vocals in the band, so more about that and more about his guitars and amps and pedal board and other cool geeky stuff. So, if you are into such videos, please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. So before we crack on, first off, man, thank you so much for taking the time and having this chat with me. Let's dive into this with a quick introduction to who is Miles Meakin. Over to you, man.
Hi everybody, I'm Miles Meakin. I'm the guitarist from Midnite City, and I'm the lead guitarist. I'm a big fan of playing electric guitar. I do very little bit of backing vocals in the band. I've only been on one of the tracks for backing vocals, but doing stuff live, I do it sometimes. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I love and dream and breathe electric guitars and amplifiers and pedals. Yeah, it's a massive blast and a true honor to be on the show. Thank you very much for having me, Ryan.
Awesome, man. That was a quick and cool introduction. So, have you always been a guitarist, dude? Oh, that was the first instrument you picked up.
The first instrument I ever picked up was the trumpet. Yeah, I used to play in a lot of brass bands in school and stuff like that, man. And but it was good, because it that really helped with learning music theory, really quickly. And trumpet's a fairly easy instrument to learn. You just got 3 valves, and it's all to do with breathing. And using correct breathing techniques. So that's the first instrument I learned, and then the second one I picked up was piano. Cool. So I learned piano, which obviously is to me, piano is the key essential instrument for music composition. It's you just put one finger down, it plays the note, dead easy. And then third instrument was electric guitar. But this was all throughout my school years. Yeah, so they were the main 3 instruments. I mean, I sang in the school choir as well, but that's but that's something different. I had to do that because I got in the school I went to. I got in on a music scholarship, so anything music related, you had to do.
Was Midnite City your first band? Probably not.
So during music college, I was in various other bands, and I've also been in a few tribute bands. My first proper band, as in actually doing live shows and everything, was I used to play in a David Bowie and T-Rex tribute band. Cool. So that, and I was based Mick Ronson. Back then, I had way shorter hair. I didn't have this length of hair, so it was way shorter. But yeah, it was cool, man. It was just doing shows and doing around the area around the Nottingham and Derby area, and getting paid for it. It's just it was cool, man. Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. It was cool.
So let's dive right into this one, man. So what would you say your favorite guitars are? What did you pick up? What was your first ever brand of guitar that you picked up, and are you still using that even now, or?
Oh no, it's not at all. The first brand I ever picked up. I remember it was I was 5 years old, and I went to this music shop. It was called Take Two Music in Nottingham, in Long Eaton, which is based in Nottingham, sorry. And my dad, picked up this. It was a Squire Affinity Stratocaster. Yeah. And the guitar played all right, played okay, I guess. The Squire Affinity stuff is obviously for a cheaper price. You get what you pay for. It's all right. It's good for beginner stuff. But it was a bright, Ferrari red color with a white pick guard. It looked really, really cool. It looked really, really cool around the time. And had a terrible Nobles guitar amplifier, some 15-watt, 10-watt practice amp with the worst sounding distortion channel ever. It was so bad, man. If you ever want to do blues or heavy metal or country, whatever, couldn't get a great tone. You could not get a great tone out of this amp. It was terrible, man. So that was that, man. And then doing guitar lessons and everything. And weirdly enough, when I used to play guitar at that age, I used to hate it because it was just my parents were right, we're paying for guitar lessons. You better stick with this, don't give up, and I just had to go along to these and just learn the instrument basically. Well, I didn't really have much passion for it. at first.
All right.
Not really, but when you're learning stuff on like a terrible amp and a not very good guitar, that was that. And then eventually along the way, when I finished school, I thought, this is great. I finally get to quit guitar playing altogether. I never have to pick up that awful instrument ever again. And but then obviously when you get a little bit older and you start to become more of an adult and you get a job and everything, and you work for money and everything, and then when you save up a bit more money, you think to yourself, well, obviously I'm listening to a hell of a lot more rock music now. I'm listening to more like Yngwie Malmsteen, Dream Theater, like the real like technical like guitar players. Maybe I should, this is the kind of level of guitar playing I really want to do. So maybe I should start playing guitar again. And then it was then when I saved up from a job and I bought a Epiphone Flying V.
Cool.
A bright red one with a white pickguard. Of course, man. Yeah, of course, dude. So red and white is such a cool color combination. One of my favorite color combinations in my opinion, of course. But and I still have that guitar. I still have it. Unfortunately, it's not here. It's back at my old house in Nottingham. But I still have it. And then it wasn't until years later I really, really got into LTD guitars. I love ESP LTD guitars. And the main guy who basically got me into that was Jun Sano. And for those who don't know who Jun Sano is is the guitarist for the rock band Crush 40, who works with Johnny Gioli from Hardline.
All right.
And obviously he's the music director for Sega, and they do all the music for Sonic the Hedgehog and Nights into Dreams and Sega Rally and all the classic Sega arcade games that we all know and love. So so I found out he used ESP guitars, so I thought I'd give them a shot, and fell in love with them ever since. And now whenever buying guitars now, I strictly just stick to LTD guitars.
Awesome, man. So how come LTD and not straight to ESPs?
Because unfortunately in this day and age, Ryan, the music industry is not great, and unfortunately I can't really afford a proper custom shop ESP guitars.
Have you tried one? Have you actually tried one to see what the difference is in feel and
Yes, I have. Yes.
All right, cool, man.
I have. I used to work in a guitar shop back in Nottingham, and we used to stock LTD guitars, and we had a few like proper ESP custom shops. And it's funny because we had the LTD model. I believe it was of the EC1000, the Eclipse. And around that time, I think it was around the time when matte satin finishes were like the new trend, was like black matte satin with the gold hardware. So we had two Eclipses in. We had the LTD Deluxe, and then we had the ESP custom shop model. And you look at the spec sheets, exact same woods, same specs, same measurements, same everything. But tell you one thing, like the LTD Deluxe sound feels and plays absolutely phenomenal. But when you play a proper ESP one, it's just you can tell you can tell a difference. You really, really can. But still, nothing wrong with the LTD Deluxe models. They're absolutely fantastic, but you can tell a difference.
Cool. So what's a current model that you're actually using right now?
So it varies. My main favorite series are I love the M series. Which are basically like LTD's version of kind of like a thin neck RG.
Cool.
Like thin neck super strats, and then you've got the MHs, which are more like kind of like Kramer, where they've got like the curved arch top bodies. And the neck profile on this is a little bit thicker. So they're like those two, and then I love the unfortunately discontinued now, but I love the ST series, which is LTD's like classic Stratocaster. And I also have two Vs. I have the V300, which is like classic, V shape. Actually, it's the model that was based on the Dave Mustaine signature model.
All right.
Because he left, but then ESP decided to carry on selling the model, but not under Dave Mustaine's name. And then the only signature guitar I have actually in my collection, I've got a Alexi Laiho signature model as well. Just for, you
Yeah.
never know when you're gonna have to do death metal stuff, man.
You
So
never know,
why
man.
not,
So do you do any kind of mods on your guitars? And as soon as you get it, when you buy a brand new guitar, do you know exactly what you have to do? Do you you pull out the pickups or do any kind of setup to the bridge and all that cool stuff?
Yes. So first thing I do is, when I get the guitar, completely change the pickups, the hardware. Some people seem to think that like changing the pickup makes like the biggest difference, when that's half true. Kind of, it will change the tone, of the actual guitar itself, but improving the hardware to me is what makes even more of a difference.
Yeah.
So I mean, for example, like my LTD ST series, my candy apple red Stratocaster, which you've seen me, any of you guys watching, if you're watching any of the music Midnite City music videos, or even watching live videos, you'll see me use this guitar, the candy apple red one with the white pick guard. So that guitar originally had 3 single coils, took them out, replaced it with 2 humbuckers. DiMarzio, I'm very proud. It's a true honor to be an endorsed DiMarzio artist. So I used the deactivators in that, and then changed the bridge. Once again, very proud to be endorsed by Babbage Guitar Hardware, who do fantastic bridges for like Stratocaster and Les Pauls and Telecasters.
Cool.
Really, really, where they have like little inserts which really increase the sustain of the guitar. So I just completely changed the hardware, just take it all out and just put in the stuff. I'm very fortunate to have like endorsements with great, guitar hardware companies, and even FU-Tone as well, where they have like these old brass mounting blocks that you put underneath your pickups, and they even increase the sustain even more. So adding this all up just gives you like absolute monster guitar tone. Yeah, so the FU tones or food tone, maybe. Do you get them here in the UK, man, or do you just import it from the US? I import them from the US.
All right,
direct.
Cool, man.
Direct.
That is awesome. So apart from all these mods, when you do you like do any refretting? Like, do you change? Do the LTDs actually come with stainless steel frets, or are you into such kind of changes, like apart from the traditional kind of things?
So the LTD models, I believe it's everything up to the 400 series, I believe, just come with like nickel frets.
All right.
Which are fine, and they do the job great. They're nothing wrong with them. Guitars are like, having a wife or a girlfriend. If you look after them, they'll look after you, man. So but I believe it's the 1000 series, which I do actually own. I own one 1000 series, which is the snapper, which is like it looks like a traditional Strat, but it's actually a super Strat. It's got 24 frets, Floyd Rose. So with that, they come with stainless steel frets. But fret work, I mean, once again, I'm very lucky. Here in Stoke-on-Trent, down the road, lives my amazing guitar tech by the guy named Rich Stubbs, aka the Guitar Doctor. And myself and Josh Tabby Williams, the bass player for Midnite City, we go there and we take our instruments whenever they need like fixing or repairing, and he does such an incredible job. The guy, I mean, this guy used to be this guy was the guitar roadie for Saxon.
Wow.
So it says it all. And the guy's even done, and Rich has even done work for. He's even done work on for Nuno Betancourt for Extreme on like a couple of gigs as well. And I think he also did it for Rich. If you're watching this, apologies if I got the wrong band, but it's either Dokken or Lynch Mob. One of them two. I can't remember which one, but definitely one of. I've got a feeling it might have been Lynch Mob he did the guitar tech in for. I think so.
Cool.
So
So which would be your go-to guitar? Like this will be the first one you're gonna grab your hands on. Like this is my favorite one for tracking. Would you use that same guitar in a live situation?
So I have I've got 2 categories of my guitars. I have my studio guitars and my live guitars. Studio-wise, I love using my MH327. And for those who don't know about any of these guitars, you can check them all out. They're all on my YouTube page. So if you click on the description below, please subscribe, guys. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
There will be a link, you guys.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks, man. So that's got 27 frets, a Floyd Rose Pro bridge with a tungsten block, DiMarzio tone zone in the bridge, Air Norton single coil bit like slanted. So like even on the top 3 strings, you get a bit more like treble response. Yeah. It sounds absolutely amazing. That guitar, actually, I used that on I think about 5 solos on the second Midnite City album. So
cool.
Yeah, it's just amazing guitar. And obviously you got 27 frets. You know, how cool is that?
So how come you have those 2 categories, man? One for studio, one for live. Is it because it's too precious to take it out on the road, or you just want to leave it alone?
You just answered the question, my dude. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. You know, because unfortunately, you know, ESP LTD, they don't do the 27 fret models anymore. Unfortunately, it sucks. But
maybe a custom coming out soon, man, from ESP.
Hopefully,
you never know.
Hopefully, man. Or you know, obviously, dream come true. You know, the Miles Meakin signature, you know, that'd
awesome, man. That
so
would be freaking awesome.
So cool, man.
Cool, man. So guitars are you using, you know, valve amps? What's the story there, man? Are you into modelers, or always used, you know, are you still using valve amps from starting to, you know, when you started, even now? Are you got any thoughts on modelers and stuff like that?
Okay, so I think modelers in this day and age are absolutely fantastic. And obviously, clearly, by judging by looking at other guitar players' rigs, as in when I see other guitar players from like more popular bands, for example, bands like Deftones and stuff like that, we're all using modelers now. It is the future of guitar playing. I mean, I was very lucky in my 20s. I had I had a lot of friends who were also, I made a lot of friends who were like also guitar players. Yeah. And they would also, you know, have like, I mean, a friend of mine, he had a Mesabuki dual rectifier, and we'd all like trade, well, not forever, but like we'd borrow each other guitar equipment, like amplifiers and pedals, and just try them out with our existing rigs. So, you know, trying out like PV5150s, Mesa dual rectifiers, Soldanos, even like rack mount gear. You know, I loved it. I've tried it all out, and it's great. But yeah, modelers is like the future. And plus, you know, when doing fly rigs, when doing abroad gigs, it's just so easy. Just like put it in a tiny pedal board, and then put it in your suitcase, and off you go. And then, you know, you turn up to the show, and then, you know, you've got your tone, your sound. And, you know, I think that's the whole key of being a guitar player. You know, you want it to sound like, you, or use equipment that like that help like accentuates, you know, your style of playing, you know.
Yeah. So what is your current setup in the amp world or modeling world?
Okay, so when it comes to modelers, I love the Line 6 Helix stuff.
Cool. That's what I'm using, man.
Dude, they're the best. They're so good, man. Even ironically, my audio interface, what I'm using to like hear you right now is I'm using the Helix rack mount.
Awesome. I do have the Axe effects, you know, but you know, it's just that is in the studio. Yet again, that's going to be the thing now, isn't it? Axe effects in the studio, and then you take Line 6 Helix out on the road for ease.
Exactly, man. I mean, on my audio interface, I'm using the Helix rack, and then when I'm doing shows abroad or even just shows in general, I use the H6 Stomp. Just because of the size and just power, you know, it's insane, man, you know. But however, I don't really, for like distortion stuff, I don't use any amp models. I literally just using it just for effects. But then where all my tone mainly comes from is from a preamp pedal by ISP Technologies, and I'm sure you might have heard of ISP Technologies, who are very, very famous for creating the world's greatest, you know, guitar noise gate, the Decimator. And they have a phenomenal preamp called the Theta. The Theta preamp is like a small red box. And I use it on obviously live shows, all my YouTube videos, everything. It's incredible, and you know, it's mainly because of like I've never had a preamp that has so many. You can get so much gain on it,
Yeah.
and it has so much like harmonic overtones.
Yeah.
But what makes it even better is that because you think, well, if there's so much gain, then you're going to get horrible hits. Well, because it's done by ISP Technologies, they've built into the pedal like the decimator. You have the
of course, man.
You have the famous noise gate like built into the pedal, so it sounds amazing. So I'm basically using that, and then that goes straight into a 2 notes torpedo cab M plus.
Cool.
Is, it's the little tiny white pedal, which is basically for power amp emulation, mic emulation, cab emulation. And that all just goes front of house. Cool. Only very recently I've started to go front of house, and it just shows it's just so phenomenal how technology has evolved throughout the years. That like I can sound like me through my favorite preamp with my favorite power amp with all my favorite effects going through a PA system. It's insane. It's crazy.
So do you rely in a live situation, man? Do you rely on the stage monitors to hear your guitars, or do you guys like the whole band using your monitors? What's the whole setup, man?
So I'm very, very new to using in-ear monitors. Pete Newdeck, the drummer, he swears by them, and actually so does Josh Tabby Williams as well. Sean uses them as well. He uses in-ears, and Rob, I think Rob owns them too. But myself and Rob, we're kind of like I've got my set of in-ears. Rob's got his, but we're like. I think it depends really. If you've got like a lot of time to prepare, like say if you've got like an hour, to set up, then it's like no problem, then we'll use our in-ears. I've not used mine yet. I carry them in my case, but I'm not using that. I probably will try them out on the next Midnite City gig.
Cool.
So like, it's awesome.
So is your guitar in a live situation, do you use wireless guitars like systems at all?
Yes, I use once again, if I'm using a Line 6 Helix, I might as well stick with Line 6. So I'm using the G10 wireless unit, which is dead tiny. And literally you just plug it into the charger, take it out, plug in the guitar, it sets the channel automatically. If it gets interference, it'll just automatically change it to a channel that's not getting interference. And honestly, I've never had any problems, and it's been with me to Japan, been with me to Sweden, been with me to Australia. It's awesome, man. It's so good, man.
I think we practically got the similar setup, man. I'm pretty much on the Line 6 Helix with the Line 6 G90.
Oh, nice. See, great minds think alike, man.
Never had any issues, but the whole band is on in-ears, the Shure PSM 300s and stuff like that. So anywhere you go, I think we are all good. We got our own rack. We plug it all in. So we rehearse with in-ears, go on stage with in-ears. So it's basically we got our own mix. We don't rely on the sound guy or anything like that at all.
Wow, man.
So it's literally plug and play.
Exactly.
So when you're recording guitars, man, do you use amps then, or do you still use your Line 6 Helix for tracking guitars for Midnite City?
So once again, just using my Helix as the audio interface through one of the loops. Obviously, I've got my theater preamp pedal. And then, of course, and then that's going into a VHT 292 power amp. And then that's mic'd up with a Marshall 4x12 cab with a SM57 on one speaker and a Royer 121 speaker on the other. So you're getting like quite a bit of like a little bit of fizzy at the top end from the SM57, but then the Royer 121 is this really like nice. I don't really want to use the term boomy, but it's got this nice
meat,
warm, kind of,
man.
just like exactly, man. And the combination just sounds awesome, man. So that's basically it, and then that's just going straight into my DAW, and then obviously I just put effects on there, my favorite delays and reverbs, all within Cubase. So, but then again, I do also record a DI track as well on top of that, just in case I can go back and reamp stuff. So
So, do you actually track any of the guitars, that ends up on the album or singles or whatever in your own space? And how does the whole process work, man? With the whole band as well, do the guys have kind of a similar setup, or do you guys go all you guys go into a traditional studio and record the whole band? What is the whole process of
So,
Midnite City?
unfortunately, with due to us being like all over the place, really. I
Yeah,
mean, me and Josh, we're not too bad. We're both in Stoke, and then Rob and Sean are both in Nottingham, and
yeah,
then Pete's in all the way in Tewkesbury.
yeah,
So we all record independently at our. I mean, I think Rob actually hires out a studio and goes and
yeah.
records his vocals there, I think.
Cool.
But myself, Josh, Sean, and Pete, we just record all of our parts here and everything.
Yeah,
Rob will write the songs, and then he'll record like basic demos,
yeah,
send them to us. And then we like discuss with like ideas and everything. Um, the main thing that I do write for Midnite City is like writing like the guitar solos and the ending solos, and even like intro melodies for like guitar instrumental
yeah.
melodies on the beginning of songs and stuff like that. But the main song work and lyrics, that's Rob's thing, and that's fine. It's all good.
Cool, man. Would you give any kind of advice while you're tracking guitars, the do's and not to do, or do you like want to give out for beginners? Do you warm up before you go on to record guitars? Any kind of tips or advice there for beginners, man?
Obviously, it's always important to practice and really, really practice. Go over the solo parts over and over and over again. Not gonna lie, you will go crazy and it will get very tedious, but man, it will be worth it. Believe you me, it will be worth it. That's the point of the studio. The point of the studio is to capture, your greatest, best of the best take.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this day and age, sometimes people seem to think, they have this it'll do
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
mannerism, and it's just like, but don't get me wrong, you probably will cry, but it will all be worth it in the end. Just got to keep up yourself. So that'll be advice number one. So obviously, like, practice your part and even record multiple takes and see which one's like the best.
Yeah.
My second one would be watch out for gain levels as well. Don't put too much gain on the input channel. So you plug your guitar into your interface. Don't crank that gain knob and you see a red ring like going around the gain knob or volume knob. That's a bad thing. Turn that down until it goes to green and you will good, man. So
that was some great advice,
yeah,
man. That's some great advice. So, is there something you can chat about? Is Midnite City working on any new music? Is there anything new coming out? Is there anything you can chat about?
Yeah. So, basically, so on Saturday, on June the 18th, we are playing at Hard Rock Hell AOR Festival in Manchester. That's going to be an awesome show. And then July 29th, we're playing in Birmingham. September the 3rd, we're playing in Hamburg in Germany at the Indoor Summer Festival. November 18th, we play at Fiend Fest, which is held by the awesome people from Rock Fiend, which is all the way in Glasgow. That's on November 18th. And then Saturday, December 17th, is at Sheffield, a venue called the Corporation Sheffield.
Cool.
So hope to see you guys there. It's going to be a kick-ass show. And then one more of the show as well. This isn't with Midnite City, but this is with another band I'm in called Life of a Hero. But I'm playing then on the 5th of August at a festival called Drunken Monkey Festival, and that is at Upton upon Severn. So yeah, see you guys there, hopefully.
That was cool, man. So thanks a lot for having this chat with me. So before we end this, man, do you want to give a shout out to any of your fans or anything out there, your brands? Up to you, dude.
I just want to say thank you all so much for watching this kick-ass channel with Ryan Webb. Please subscribe to his channel. He's a great guy. He's a cool dude. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, ISP Technologies, and everyone who supported like Midnite City throughout the years and Carry on supporting us. You guys are the absolute coolest. Hope to see you guys soon. See you guys on the road. Take care.
Thank you very much, man. Take care.